Welcome to St. Nicholas podcast. This podcast is a channel for us to help families understand who we are, what we enjoy doing, and what we think it's really important for the children. So I'm going to start introducing myself. I'm Jennifer Fletcher, and I'm the head of early years in Alphaville. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Yes, thank you, Jenny. I'm Penelope, head of early years here in Pinheiros.
Nice.
Hi everyone, I'm Juliana Peluzzi. I'm the early years pedagogical leader at Pinheiros and one of the PYP coordinators here at St. Nicholas Pinheiros.
And I am Fernanda Silva, an early year teacher in Alphaville. So my journey at St. Nicholas started in 2016 when the Alphaville campus was inaugurated, but I am here with three amazing educators that have a long history with St. Nicholas, and I think people would love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, talking about history, I've got some. I'm 29 years, and I've been in this new house, the old version, before going to Alphaville, and I've moved around also between houses at St. Nicholas, so I know what you've been through, but this house is really amazing, and congratulations.
It was great to walk around the new building with you and check what it looked like back then and what it looks now. There's a lot of history.
There's a lot of history for sure.
In the house, and it is great to see that the history is there to prove how much we've been growing and transforming our learning environments, as Penelope said, to match our students, our needs, and our current generations, right?
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of history to come as well from these new seeds you're planting at this moment. And for me as a newer member, I'm completing 8 years. Yeah, 8 years. It's a pleasure to see how you talk about St. Nicholas in such a loving and in a loving way, and I feel like I have a lot of history to build as well with this school and this team. So it's really a joy to be part of it.
Great. And you know what? You just mentioned about the seeds that we're planting, that we all have been planting together. You know, some of those seeds are coming back now because we have nowadays like former students, like alumni, bringing their children to come and join us in Tiny Tots, in nursery. So they're beginning their journey here at St. Nicholas. So we can tell that they're coming back home as well, building this history together with us.
And probably to the same house that they have been as students. So it's renovated, it's new, but it has so much love and care and history.
Yes. And believe it or not, in Alphaville, we had a teacher that was a student.
There you go.
So it goes on and on. The history never ends.
That's it.
People keep coming back. Yeah, people keep coming back to St. Nicholas. This means a lot.
Yes, that's it. Once a St. Nicholas, always the St. Nicholas.
So welcome, everyone. And let's show them what we love doing. What we love doing the most is play. We enjoy playing. We enjoy having children play. So today we are going to allow you to understand a little bit what is play. How do we work with play? How do we plan the play at school? How we organize our environments? So I'm going to start with Ju Peluzzi. Ju, we are a PYP school, and we started doing the PYP in Pinheiros in 2000. We were authorized in 2002. So it's been quite some time that we've been doing the PYP, and I believe that we are one of the most experienced school in São Paulo. So can you tell us a little bit more about the PYP?
Sure. Yes, Jenny, you are totally right. We are the first PYP school in the state of São Paulo and the second PYP school authorized in Brazil. So it's been a long journey, and it's a program that we love, that really connects to our philosophy at St. Nicholas, and it brings back the essence of what you just said. Yes, human beings are born to play, right? We are born to investigate play, test, check what is out there in the world. And the early years in the PYP says that to us. There are 4 central features of the early years in the PYP. One of that is play, but also healthy relationships. We believe that we need to support the children in creating healthy relationships with others in the school environment, but also a healthy relationship with themselves as they grow, right? So this is one very important feature of our early years PYP. Also symbolic learning. As we adults recognize that children as they grow, they learn to read and write, and they learn maths. It all begins with understanding symbols around them. So that's why one of the central features is symbolic learning. So how do the children understand the world of the symbols around them? They begin with facial expressions, right? They grasp meaning from how adults react to them, to the situations, if they look happy, if they look sad, if they look upset. But then they begin to understand the images. Images, signs, symbols convey meaning. And when they are ready, they understand letters and sounds, and then numbers, right? So symbolic learning is very important in our PYP. And last but not the least, the power of learning environments, right? We need to be able to design learning environments that boost their capacity to learn and develop skills. So these are the 4 central features of the early years in the PYP. Right?
Nice. Thank you very much, Jill. And now we have many PYP schools around Brazil, São Paulo, the world. And what makes it different from one PYP school to the other? What are we about that it goes beyond values, it goes beyond what the PYP says?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, there are many PYP schools, and it's great to be part of this network because we all collaborate and learn with each other. And the IB, the International Baccalaureate Organization, is a very inclusive organization. To become global as they are, they do recognize that each school has a specific context.
And culture and everything else, yeah.
Exactly. Each school has their community to respond to. And St. Nicholas has a very unique community. We have our core values. Since our foundation, we have the love for what we do and the care for whom we do it. And these are the foundational values that support everything we do and that unites our community. So that makes our ways of being this makes our ways of being as a community and learning unique. So we can design learning according to our community. Here at St. Nicholas, there are 5 core values that come from those 2 foundational values of love and care. Respect. Respect for us is really important. We do support the children to learn to respect themselves, the environment, and one another since a very early age. Commitment. Our team of educators are highly committed to their learning and to the needs of each individual learner. International mindedness, because we are an international community, this is really important for us. Integrity and also belonging. Belonging is very strong at St. Nicholas since the foundation in 1980. Everybody feels belonging as they come in our gate every day, right?
Yeah, but thank you. And we want everyone to feel that they belong to this community. So we try to include the children, the parents, everyone. So that's the importance of having you understanding how we work, right? And these values, they are values that children will take for life. So that's why it's so important and that we work with them every day, right? So thank you very much, you. And Penelope.
Yes.
So could you tell me a little bit more about play and why is it important? Why do we play?
Why do we play? That's a good one. As you mentioned, it's intrinsic in human beings and even actually in nature. If we take a look all around us, how nature plays to learn, evolve, and develop, that's in us, right? So if we quote Albert Einstein, he said that play is a form, like a highest form of research. So that in individuals is very, very natural. So understanding that makes us all researchers of learning, right? Through play. So we do engage on understanding how play happens. For children, it looks like play. For us, adults and educators, it's a lot of planning and work and studies, because they show us every day the many connections that they are making through play. All these connections are related to their social skills, how they interact with each other, to their cognitive skills, like what are they thinking in terms of numeracy, language. Reading and writing is totally developed through play, understanding the meaning of communication. How do we communicate with the world? So at start, they will go through messages to each other, their own names, what's my name, what's my friend's name, my family's name. And with that, you can also tackle the whole alphabet, right? If you're looking at names, you will start the process of alphabetization. The literacy process will be worked out from that. And it all begins with what looks like play. But there's much more to that. Also, if you think they're critical thinking, solving problems, it all comes within the play. Because they will have to negotiate what they're doing. They will have to come up with new ideas. Sometimes a friend doesn't want to listen to their idea. Okay, how can you improve your speech for you to make sure people understand what you want to say? So it's all very, very connected. And it all happens when they're playing. So...
Thank you, Penelope. And it's amazing to think that we can assess and we can work with so much within play. Tell me a little bit more how the planning part is done and the assessment. What's behind the scenes that the children don't see?
True. So if we think, if your child goes home and says, I played, that's a great sign.
Yeah, it looks like it says that we are doing something right. I always tell parents, if your child is saying, I played all day, we're doing our job right.
Yes. And you know what, Fernanda, one thing that happened to us, is when adults, let's say when families come and visit us and they tell us, oh, I feel like playing, then it's a great sign that we're making it right. Because if an adult feels invited, imagine a child. So I think we're reaching our purpose when everybody feels invited. Even the educators, they also should feel welcome and invited by the environment that they are working on. So considering that, we do have collaborative planning sessions when all the educators get together. They discuss the foundations of the curriculum. They plan for each child what will look like play for them. They are going to play behind it with all the learning intentions in place. They will also plan for personal, social, and physical education, which we call PSP, which is a big, important area of their learning as well. So all these areas of knowledge, they are included in their planning. So every time they plan, they are in contact with all these areas. Music will come into creative arts. All the visual arts also come into that. Drama, for instance, how they present themselves in public will also go into creative arts. So let's say that our planning is pretty complete in that sense. And when we put together all the educators discussing about a child's learning, it's when all these different perspectives, they meet together, enhancing the learning process, enhancing the learning experience of that child. And that is done individually for each child. Of course, the group will benefit from it, but we always have each child in mind for us to plan our next steps. So what did we see today that can support us improving learning tomorrow? That's
and
how
we
we
try
plan.
and see their hypothesis. We hear what they say. We write it down. So what can we make this experience even go further, right?
Yes, exactly. And you also asked about documenting learning, right? That's a big part. So the PYP, especially in the early years, like they bring a high focus on that, where assessment, how do we understand what children have been learning, is done in 4 different parts. So we monitor learning, we document the learning, we measure the learning, and we report the learning. With those 4 aspects, like assessment is pretty complete. So by monitoring, it's us as educators observing how children respond to all the invitations we make, to all the provocations we make in terms of learning. What's their response? With that, then we are going to document by taking pictures, by recording what they say, recording what they do, how they play in the environment. All of that will give us signs on what the next steps will be. And then we're going to measure the learning, because within time, we can tell how much they have grown in their learning. For instance, on a composition, a 2D and 3D composition area, they will begin building some very simple constructions. In a couple of months, if you go back to your records, to your documentation, you will see how much they have evolved, how complex all those constructions have become. And we can only tell the difference because we have documented that learning. And how do we measure? Looking at our benchmarks. So how was the child a month ago? How is the child now? We can compare, what was the beginning of the journey and what's the continuation and what are the next steps. And reporting will be when we tell families through our reports, our overview of that child learning, and that is an individual progress and process, right?
Thank you, Penelope. I think you really managed to make it clear. It was very kind of step by step. And I just would like something else, but I'm going to ask Fernanda.
Okay.
So, Fernanda, talking about learning environments. I know that we had, in the last year, a few changes, a few new areas. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, in Alphaville, we inaugurated about a year ago our new playground, which is a beautiful area where children can develop their cognitive skills. There's an area where they play with water and sand, and there's the area where they climb. There's a big spider web. They love it. So, and when we talk about learning spaces, it's not only what it's planned by the teacher, but also how the school was designed to promote these opportunities for learning in the playground, in the kitchen, in the lunchroom, in the hallways. So it's not only about what it's done inside the spaces, but also how the whole school and how the project was done. And in Alphaville, we have a beautiful campus with a lot of green areas, outside areas. Teachers go outside the classrooms very often to explore these different corners around the school. So it really does make a difference. And I know that here in Pinheiros, you have recently inaugurated, very recently, right, the new early years house.
Yes, a couple of days ago, to be very honest, and we're really, really proud of everything, because the structure was planned by a group of educators, the architect, the engineer, our project manager. So many people participated in designing and renovating a house that was actually the house where it all began, right, Ju?
Yes, there's a lot of history in that house. And I don't know if many people know that, but there was a moment in our history that when the Curson family decided, wow, we are growing big, and they became St. Nicholas, it was in that house. So there's a lot of history in that house. Many children grew up in that house. Many educators grew their understanding of learning in that house. So for us, the school decided to move the early years across the road after pandemic. And then Penelope, with this big group of people, as she mentioned, they designed this project. And these days, when we opened the house, it felt like coming back home. And that's the feeling we have in our hearts. The same founding values of love and care are there. The school kept the wooden house, and that's great because it keeps this historical image.
And the cozy feeling.
Yes. And the feedback we've had from the children has been impressive. Some of them don't want to go home. And they say they have totally a new school. They feel like it's totally new. But we know that there's a lot of history there, right?
Yeah. And when we talk about this sense of belonging, like making their school their own, having this feeling like, I don't want to go home, I want to stay here. And this is what we see at St. Nicholas. We see that children notice how much effort and how much care was put in the design of their learning spaces. So it's really beautiful to see.
So, Fernanda,
Yeah.
I heard you have news. Could you tell everyone a little bit of this surprise we've got coming soon?
Yeah, this is something very special. It came from a place of a lot of dedication and effort from this team that is here today. And we would like to invite everyone and to present everyone our early years exchange, which is going to be an event happening on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of October, where teachers from other schools from all over Brazil, all over the world, will join us in this exchange moment. And on the 17th and 18th, they'll be able to visit our campus, and both our campuses actually, Alphaville and Pinheiros, to see the learning happening in action, to see our practices, to watch our students, and to exchange with our teachers in campus. It's going to be an amazing experience for both our teachers and people coming for the event. And on the 19th is a Saturday morning where we will have this workshop with teachers where our St. Nicholas teachers will present their documentation. They will show how they work with play-based learning in the classroom and the PYP and everything. So we're preparing something really special, and we'd like to invite everyone to join us at the Early Years Exchange at St. Nicholas.
So thank you very much, Fernanda. Thank you. I think you managed to wrap up and give parents an idea of what we are about. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.